Hello, welcome to Wednesday chat. It is crazy, stormy, rainy here in Sarasota. We are having a major storm. So finger crossed, nothing major is gonna happen. But it is hello, Res. First one here already. Um, we have a big storm coming, and look like there is a tropical depression in the Gulf of Mexico, which could cause some bad things on the west side of Florida. That's the positive thing about living on the west side of Florida is it has been super hot here. It was super hot here in Florida for many months, but the last couple of weeks it has been very rainy. Um, Today, insane. It rained so much today that I should have done a video to show how flooded the street. The streets are flooded because the drainage are just not. It's not draining fast enough because rains are coming down in sheets. I have a few more episodes of Daredevil left. All right. So how have you enjoyed what you watched so far? Hopefully, you enjoyed it more than season one. I think for most people, yes, I cannot wait for Luke Cage either. But I think for most people, at least from what I can remember, I think most people enjoy season two of Daredevil more than season one. It is for me as well. I definitely enjoy season two very much. Pure awesomeness. I'm glad. It is good. It is really good. You know, um, sure. Overall, nothing is ever perfect. I can't say that the show or the episode was great, but you know, if I look at the entire 13 hours of season two, uh, sure there were a few slow moment, but overall, even the slow moment weren't bad. It flowed really well. It's very well paced. I love it. I watch it. I have seen season two. I watched both season one and season two more than once. Some episode I only watch once. Some episode I watch twice. Sometimes even three times. So I'm definitely can't say that I watch every episode twice, but there were at least half the episode I did rewatch it just because I like it so much. And then one episode I watched three times. The last episode I watched three times. Have you watched River yet? Huh. Is that in on Netflix? River. I don't recall seeing that on my Netflix recommended thing. Let me look. I have not heard about that show yet. Huh. Nobody I know has even mentioned that show. So somehow River. Yes, the last episode of Daredevil season two was good enough for me to watch it three times. Netflix River. Wow! Don't tell me anymore. I don't need to know what the show is about. Sure. Whenever you're ready. Whenever you're ready to talk, um, I will have to watch, of course, River. And then if you want to talk about Daredevil, feel free to do a chat and invite me I already did my review of season 2 with our common mutual friends, Comic Crack. Comic Crack and I did a review of season 2 in, I think, 2 episodes. We did like the first half of the season and then the second half of the season. We did in 2 batches. I think my memory slipping, getting old really sucks because I just can't seem to remember what happened last month. Short-term memory are slipping. The first sign of old age. Okay, I will be surprised. I will watch River. It sounds familiar. I might have seen it. It sounds familiar, but I will look it up on Netflix tonight after I'm done with my chat. And then based on my schedule tomorrow and Friday, with Labor Days coming up, I might be able to binge through it. And maybe we can have a chat on your channel next week. Did you see the teaser for Stranger Things season 2? Yes, I did. I saw it I saw it this afternoon or this morning. It was today. Early today, I saw it. It was a cool. Is that the one with the montage of different title? I think that's what you're talking about, right? It really didn't have much of anything as far as any kind of scenes. Stellan Skarsgård. Man, I will have to let you know after tonight after the chat for sure, Raz, because I may have seen it. River. If this is just my guess, okay, this is my guess based on my memory. It's a detective crime drama show in Europe somewhere, like Scandinavia or Denmark or one of those European country. Yes, I saw that little teaser trailer. I am very interested in what they're doing. I heard that they're gonna do some justice for Barbara, so that Barbara is not completely forgotten. I heard that they're going to do it like a year after, because all the young actors have aged. Yes, yeah, I might have seen it. I will take a look, Raz, and if I have, I let you know. But I remember seeing a bunch of crime drama on Netflix. That was like maybe a year ago. It might be even like a year ago that I saw it. That have serial killer, maybe a couple of rapes, I think, something like that. So we'll see. We'll see if my memory is correct, and if it is, it was a good show. Liking the covers. Hello, my friend. Yeah, I might be talking about The Bridge. We'll find out if my memory. Like I said, I love crime drama. I am a big fan of crime drama. When it comes down to TV and movie, I put science fiction and crime drama above actions. Okay, I prefer crime drama above actions, above comedy. Okay, that's my taste. I know some people like comedy. I'm okay with comedy, but I put comedy here, action, crime drama. I am a huge fan of crime drama. Can't get enough. I cannot get enough of that kind of show. Crime, mystery, you name it. I can soak all those episodes on all the shows. LO. let me think what LO mean. I am a huge LO. LO. Hmm. You may have stumped me there. I'm sure once I know what LO stand for, it'd be like duh. Um, yeah, back to Stranger Things. I have heard that because all the actors are Law and Order. Duh. Yes, I have for a decade. For a decade, the original Law and Order show. I love that show. I love that show. Um, it was one of my favorite TV show through the 90s. Okay, I can tell you, I never miss an episode. Um, I also like the spin-off of Law and Order when they have that actor that played the Kingpin. Uh, the name escaped my mind, but that actor, that spin-off with that actor was also one of my favorite. I didn't care for the other SUV. Um, the other spin-off was the beginning of me losing interest in the show, and I have stopped watching Law and Order in the past 3 years, but for over a decade. Ah, yes. No, well, back to Stranger Things, because all the young actors and have aged so quickly. They go through that growth spurt in the early teens. The show will have to adjust to real time in that a year later. Okay, so that's the little tidbits that I got, which will be interesting because it's a year later because they're all going to be a few inch taller, a little bit bigger, maybe deeper voice. But we'll see. Like I said, I am super, super, super excited. Um, it's a wonderful show. Sure, I'm sure there are people out there that didn't care for the show. I don't know anybody, but there is never a show that everyone love. Okay, I have rarely. Can anyone here know? Can anyone here name who that? Hello. Can anyone here name a TV show that everyone loved? I can't recall. I can't recall one TV show that universally loved. Even like The Walking Dead, as successful and popular as The Walking Dead is, my wife couldn't care less. Couldn't care less. She don't care about zombie. She don't care to see. She doesn't care to see skull being bashed in on a weekly basis. No, that's not her thing. So yeah, I mean it's hard to find a TV show that universally loved. Okay, so speaking of crime drama and suspense, Raz, there's a TV show on Amazon. Do you have Amazon Prime? If you have Amazon Prime, there is a show on there that are brilliant. Okay, I did a review for it uh, 6 months ago. Amazing show, and they're doing season 2 also. Another European, UK based crime mystery drama. It's it's a combination of crime, mystery, drama, and horror. Talking about a mixed bags of awesomeness. Veering into TV news, what do you guys think about uh, the news from Batman? Oh man, something is in my eyes and it's just itchy like crazy. Of course, the news break earlier this week from Batfleck. that the the bad guy for the Batman movie has been revealed, and it's Deathstroke, which is pretty cool. I'm all for that. Okay, I can tell you, I as much as I love Batman, yes, who that Luke Cage next week after Labor Day. Okay, so who that Raz, you two are the two that has expressed interest in doing a live chat discussing the show. So between the three of us, we will coordinate once the show launch to see how we can do a live chat between the three of us. Okay, my take is we can pick all three channel where we do say the first 2 or 3 episode in your channel Raz, the next 2 or 3 episode in Who That's channel, the next 2 or 3 episode on my channel, but we rotate. Okay, we will rotate the Luke Cage review so that we all host at least one, if not two shows. Okay, so keep that in mind. Right now, Who Dat has expressed interest in doing Google live discussion every 2 episodes, which is fine. That will work because if we do 2 per live chat, then we each host 2 live chat each. Okay, because then that make it 6 live chat. So that will work for me. 3 people, a good number for live discussion. Your wife even want to watch Luke Cage? Yes, my wife will. My wife has had watched Daredevil and Jessica Jones. She enjoyed both shows. I'm not sure she loved it like I did, but she did like it. She did like it, and she looked forward to Luke Cage. Yes, Deathstroke. The news come out. I am all for Deathstroke as the villain. I have said this in other live chat. As much as I love the Joker, enough. Okay, we have seen Batman with 3 different Jokers. Enough. There's a fatigue in me to see the Joker on the big screen, just as there is a fatigue in me to see Magneto appearing in every freaking X-Men movie. Okay, I like Magneto, but please, can they stop including him in the movie, in every movie, with his continuing dilemma, struggle between good and bad? Enough already. Enough. After 5 movies, 6 movies, I don't need to see Magneto anymore. I am so sick and tired. It has nothing to do with how great the actors are that play those roles. I don't care. I'm tired of seeing Magneto in the X-Men. Okay, tired of it. Rare said, "I'm fatigued of all these different Batman." Comic book station, yes, there are 7, and like I said, I am tired. I'm simply tired of seeing Magneto. The older version, the younger version, whatever version, enough. Enough already. Let's move on and do the Dark Phoenix saga correctly, or better, make it into a trilogy. Okay, the Phoenix saga cannot be told in 90 minutes. Whew. How many times can I rant about that stupid movie? We need to see a real mega Dark Phoenix saga that can be told in 3 movies. the character arc of Phoenix can really become the main storylines. Yes, who that? I'm glad you agree. I'm glad. And the TV Batman is coming back this fall. Is that ah Batman on TV? You mean like Gotham or not Gotham? Are you talking about Batman is the young Bruce Wayne in Gotham or something completely different? What the Adam West or it could be? I heard something about Adam West and but that's more like a cartoon, right? Because you're not going to see Adam West appearing in live action. Who that? I can see multiple villains for Batman. I have been a champion for you know to see different characters in Batman. There's I have been. Can you hear the thunder? Can you hear the rumbling thunder and the rain? Wow. If you can't, trust me, it is lightning and thunder. Rain is coming down in sheets of water. Insane out there. Um, I have I have joked about wanting to see Man Bat in a big screen for a long time because the Christopher Nolan Batman is reality based, but now with the DC universe movies branching into the supernatural and all this meta human and things from outer space and all that stuff, it's time to bring Man Bat to the big screen. That's all I gotta say. And he can be not a villain and not a hero, a conflicted character like he is in comic books. That would be super, super fun to see. I'm all for something new, something different. Enough with the Joker. Enough with the Magneto. Enough. Yes, if they can go Diablo, if they can do Boomerang and all this, trust me, Man Bat would be way cooler than half of the member of Suicide Squad. You know who I want them to bring back? It would be super cool. Manhunter. Yes, the Manhunter that appeared in Detective Comics. But I think that's the only big news as far as movies concerned. They announced the show. The only thing that I would complain, if that's not even the right word, was the costume of Deathstroke. I thought the costume of Deathstroke in Arrow was super cool. So I'm not 100% sold on the look of Deathstroke in the little teaser. It looked cool. Make no mistake. It looked cool, but the way DC has drawn him, even in the Injustice game, he can be even more cooler looking. Okay, so maybe when we see him in action, he will look cool, but there's a part of me that say, man, he didn't look as cool as he could be. Who that said that I hope they keep Mr. Sinister for the next X-Men movie. That would be extremely interesting. We have not heard anything from the X-Men franchise. No doubt X-Men Apocalypse was a disappointment. By any measure, it was a studio disappointment. Okay, because for those that remember, when X-Men Days of Future Past came out and it was a fairly big success, you heard about Apocalypse literally weeks later. Okay, they announced Apocalypse to be the big bad guy, and the buzz about X-Men Apocalypse was almost immediate. Now that X-Men Apocalypse came out and the reception was tepid, and the financial success of the movie was not really, whoa, there was a fluttering of light. So let me be warned, in big storm like this, my neighborhood lose power almost 50% of the time. So be warned, I can be gone like that. And if that happened, you know I have lost power to the house. Um, yes, they did tease it at the end of the last movie, just as they teased Apocalypse at the end of Days of Future Past. Okay, but the excitement for Apocalypse was much bigger last time compared to the excitement or the lack of excitement for Mr. Sinister this time, mainly because the movie wasn't all that great. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. And Fox has kind of went into like radio silence as far as when the next X-Men movie is gonna come out. They have been very quiet. Okay, Fox has been very quiet with what's the future for the X-Men franchise gonna be. Very quiet, because a lot has to do with what Wolverine is going to do. Okay, it's easy for us fans to think that they can switch over to X-23 with Mr. Sinister, but I think comic fan, are overstating the potential success of X-23. Okay, there's a big difference between comic fan, people that know X-23, and the general movie going fan. Is a movie going fan ready to replace Hugh Jackman? I don't know. I don't know. Rob Liefeld. I Rob Liefeld was not my cup of tea, Rez. Um, when Rob Liefeld came into the limelight, came into the comic fandom and the popular when his popularity exploded, that was near the end of me buying books off the rack. I was near the end of my stage of collecting comic book back in 1991 or so, I think 1990. Sure, I stopped buying books by late 1993, I think, or early 1994, one of those years. But by 1990, 1991, as I was heading to grad school, my love for comic book was on the decline. Okay, I can tell you, I started collecting comic book in 1981, and it was peaking to 85. Okay, my high school graduation year, 85. So from 81 to 85, it peaked. And then from 85 to 90, it kind of flatlined. Okay. And then from 1990, late 1990, early 1991 to 1994, it declined to the point where I stopped buying. So that's the arc of me and the hobby. And Rob Liefeld came in on the scene at the point of decline. That says a lot about what I think of Rob Liefeld. His emergence into the hobby was my eventual exit of the hobby. Omega Red should be interesting to explore in a movie. Possibly, I don't know how that's gonna work, to be honest with you. I have seen X-Men issue 4 in many. Yeah, a lot of people have bought up that book. There are a zillion. They gotta be like a million copy of that books out there. It's not a rare book by any means. So if you can make $5 off that book, I guess that's the potential. But I just don't see that book. Remember, every villain comes and go, and the weaker the villain, the bigger pile of garbage it will be after the movie is over. Okay, just like Malekith. Don't forget, there was a time when Malekith, the first appearance in Thor, was selling for $20, $30. Now it's back to $2. So whatever you do, speculating on Omega Red, I say flip it quick, flip it often, and don't keep it. Because I just don't see that book being worth more than $2. But that will not stop people from hoping for more. Yes, when it comes down to the hobby and the bubble and the speculation, there's always people that will disregard the history of the hobby. They will poo-poo what happened. This time it will be different. Omega Red is not Malekith. Omega Red is not Viper. Omega Red is not this, not that. Guess what? It's the same garbage. Okay. When you have C-lister appearing for a small bit part role in a movie and then get killed off at the end, it's goodbye, good riddance, garbage. I still have a ton of Rob Liefeld comics left. Should I keep them or just get rid of them? There's nothing wrong or keeping them. I mean, I have had a lot of discussion with Rob Liefeld fans over the many years. I have a lot of discussion, debates with his fans, and it's always come down to taste, personal preferences, and whether I like Rob Liefeld or not, and if they love Rob Liefeld, that's fine. I mean, it's not. I don't want to impose my tastes on anybody. Collectability. I mean, if people like that, there are people that genuinely like Rob Liefeld, both as a person and as an artist. There are a reason why he's still in business, still drawing, still making money drawing. So who am I to tell anyone that he's not good? Apparently there are enough people liking his stuff to support him. So be it. So I wouldn't recommend anyone to sell anything because I don't like the artist. Doesn't matter to me. I think certainly the only thing that I always trying to remind fans that love a particular artist is there's nothing wrong with nostalgia. There's nothing wrong with, I love Rob Liefeld because when I was 10 years old, I love him. There's a nostalgia factor. That's okay. If you love something when you're 10 years old, it's okay. You can still hold on to that nostalgia feeling. But at the same time, now that you're older, if you're 10 years old in the 90s and you thought Rob Liefeld was the awesome, but now 25 years later and you are 35, 40 years old, I hope your taste in art has evolved where you appreciate other artists. Okay, that's all I have to say. I'm not gonna, I can't you know, I can't impose my taste on other collectors. I think too often, people get all riled up because other people don't like the same thing that they do. And I think that's kind of silly. I have always thought that people get way too thin skinned when it comes to other people different taste. Okay. Sean King, you 32. If that's the case, then you must have been exposed to Rob Liefeld when you are very young. uh, yeah, it's when I look back at the 90s, from Jim Lee to Rob Liefeld to Todd McFarlane, I do see the goodness in some of what they do. Yes, I am not a huge fan of Jim Lee is probably the best of the three I just mentioned. But even then, I never thought Jim Lee can draw. Okay, there is no denying that he can draw. But to me, drawing a comic book is more than drawing beautiful shape of human body. It's about storytelling. It's about layout, uh, storyboard, and that's had always been one of my bigger complaint with Jim Lee was I felt that his storytelling, the way he outlined the panels, has always been weak. Even as refreshing and as beautiful his art were, for me in the 90s when he was drawing the X-Men, sure, I was relieved that an artist that can draw finally took over the title that I love again. But at the same time, I found his writing, his storytelling, his panel layout was not to my liking. Okay, trust me, I was not a huge Jim Lee fan, as many people were in the 90s. Now, I can't say that what he is today because, I don't really buy a whole lot of stuff, um, modern stuff, so I can't say how he evolved and all that stuff. So, but Jim Lee has always drawn beautiful figures. There is no debate that his figures, his female figures, his anatomy, all that stuff are good. There is no disputing. I'm only saying that I didn't care for his storytelling. Who do you think should write a book, a writer or artist? As much as I hate to say this, and I'm sure some people would disagree, I say it's an artist. The medium is the art. Okay, if people want to read a story, if there's, um, not to say that a story has no importance. Okay, I'm just saying that for me, for me, who love the medium because of the visual look, I care more about the art than the story. I prefer good story with good art. I have a hard time dealing with a bad story with good art and vice versa. I can't deal with a good story and bad art either. Okay, so that's where the dilemma is for me. When I flip through a book, it's the art that caught my attention, but it's the story that hold my attention. So it better has something decent as far as story, because even as great as Neil Adams is or were, his Batman books a few years ago was not to my liking. The art was beautiful, but the story, Like I said, the arts get my attention. The story hold my attention. No investment in absorbing man. I don't know about that one. No, no. I thought you were a Batman fan. You need to see Lee's art on Hush. I am a Batman fan, but I just don't have the drive or the curiosity in the past few years to seek out and look at new stuff. In all honesty, I have my limited time on what I want to do, and that's not reading new stuff or buying new stuff. It's a but at the end of the day, it's a personal choice. It's not a knock on modern stuff. It's crappy or anything like that. I don't read the new stuff, so I'm not gonna sit here and say, "Oh, the new stuff is garbage." I'm not one of those old time collectors that said, "The new stuff is garbage. I can't buy it." For the most part, I don't see it. I don't read it. I don't know anything about it, and so I can't comment on that. I put my energy and financial into buying back issues. Some people can blow $100 a month buying new books. I would rather spend $100 a month buying two or three or one back issues. People wonder where my money goes. That's where I voted with my money. I'd rather buy back issues. Could be bronze, could be silver age, but I have been doing that for years now. So it's not as if, I changed. I had focused mainly on back issues since I returned to the hobby in 1999. I stopped buying new books off the rack in 1994. Jim Lee best work was Hush. You're not the first to say that. I have heard that quite a few times now. So maybe someday I will check it out. Who do you think had the best covers in comic? I'm leaning toward Adam Kubert or John Byrne. Sean King. That's a tough question. Ooh. Just like the video I made this morning to answer Jimmy C in his contest, when it comes down to who drew the best covers, it's easier for me to break it down to categories instead of like trying to pick, the best cover. It's just too many. I couldn't, if I had to talk about Silver Age Marvel, Jack Kirby. If I am talking about Silver Age DC superheroes, even horror, well, superheroes, then I would go with Nick Cardy. I really like Nick Cardy. War, DC War, of course, you go with Joe Kubert. DC Horror, of course, I go with Bernie Wrightson. So, as you can see, it's easier for me to break down the genre of book and then say my favorite artist there than to say this is my favorite cover artist of all time. I literally cannot do that. Razet, I don't recall ever see you in the live chat, but HE Surfer is here. Yeah, like liking the cover set, there are just so many, and even the great one, even the great artists out there have duds. I love Neil Adams, but there are a lot of Neil Adams DC covers that I think are boring. I can't bring myself to buy them. So even me, who love Neil Adams, have refused refuse to buy quite a few DC covers because they are just not good enough for me. Dan listener, hello. Yes, HE Surfer, there are just too many to name. Um, you know, even like say a title like Doctor Strange, right? If I had to sit here and say who's my favorite cover artist for that, overall, I would have to say Gene Colan. If I had to like sit here and say, okay, is this gonna be Bruno, Ditko, Gene Colan, and there's so many other ones, but I would have to go with Gene Colan. So even when you break it down per title, as far as favorite artist cover for that title, is hard. It's hard to pick. Sure, when you talk about X-Men Bronze Age to modern age, it's easy to say John Byrne. Easy. But once you go away from the Bronze Age, then you have to go with Neil Adams, because Neil Adams did some amazing X-Men covers before they were canceled. So, yes. First time I actually get to watch you live. Welcome to the show, man. I'm here for another 20 minutes. When it's 8 o'clock, it's time for me to chill and relax. Robert Finofrock asks, hello, Nick. Make any new pickup lately? Nothing new. I just shot a haul videos this morning, which I will load, sometime later. I think it's like maybe 7 or 8 books that I picked up in the past 3 months. I do a quarterly haul, not weekly haul, not monthly hauls, quarterly haul. But there is about, I bought more. I always bought more than what I show or shown in my hauls. But many of the stuff I buy are just junky reader stuff, mostly magazine stuff. That's not worth showing. It's just for me to read. Not a big deal. I don't need to show them in a haul. But there were 6 or 7 that was worthy to be shown. Oh, yes, that is a local artist. He did that for Katrina, the Katrina hurricane benefit back in 2009. Yeah. I still need to put a few more up. I have room for 4 right in this space. And right now, only 2 are showing. I'm in a process of replacing the other 2. Trilogy is here. How are you, my friend? Are you at work? I think this is your work time. What else? And as far as well, so one of the books that I bought for the haul actually is on my top 10 most wanted book for the year. So I'm crossing one more off. Now I'm only down to 2, but most likely the 2 hardest books to find for me. They're not impossible, but trying to find a good deal on either one may not be possible. At the end of the day, I like to buy the books, but I also do not want to overpay. That's my first rule. Nothing is worth overpaying for. Not in this hobby. Not for me. I am always at work. Trilogy. Somebody eating clam chowder? I must say, I prefer the red over the white. Yes, even though I live in Boston for 7 years, the white chowder is just too creamy, too rich for me. My apology to all New England clam chowder fan out there. I just cannot eat. I can, but if I was gonna eat New England clam chowder, I had to eat in like a little cup. I can't eat the whole bowl of it. It's just my wife love it. Every time we go back to Boston to visit, she love a big bowl of New England clam chowder. Not for me. I can eat a few spoon of her bowl. That's good for me. Raz, I'm from Boston. Are you still living in Boston? I do love Boston. I lived in Boston from 1989 to 1991, and then from 2000 to 2005, 2004, 2005. Yeah, 2005. So yes, that's my 7+ year stint in Boston. Love the city. Don't miss the winter. Certainly, I do not miss the winter. I love the fall. I still go back to Boston at least once a year. My dad's birthday is always in the fall, so I always come up there to visit dad. Oh, you now I am in North Carolina. I see. Ah, you got me there. Who that? I didn't know you were making a joke about the clam chowder. Is there any hard to find mini series that you are looking for, Nick? Hmm. Not really. Um, I would say the only mini series that I am looking for, if I see it for the right price, for the in the right condition, would be 300. When 300 came out, the one with Frank Miller, I bought the books and then I subsequently gave it. Well, I didn't give it. I let a friend borrow when the movie 300 came out, and one of my local friend here, loved it, and he didn't realize that the movie was based on the book, the series, the mini series. I lent him those books because I want him to see how the movie was such a beautiful panel to panel um, recreation. It's one of the more true comic to movie translation that you have ever seen or will ever see. So I lent that mini series to him, uh, and I had never seen those books again. And he's no longer around. He left town. He disappeared. Poof. Left town after the real estate market crash. Disappeared. So those books disappeared with him. I just want to say thanks for telling me to check out Stranger Things on Netflix. What an awesome show. I'm glad you enjoyed the show. I'm glad. So far, I think everyone that I recommended the show to that follow through, not everybody that I recommend the show watch the show. Okay. Some people just like, I just don't have time for that kind of stuff. To me, it's like, make time. If you don't have time, make time, because what It could be one of the more enjoyable 13 hours you're going to spend by binging through that series. It is awesome. Sean is here. GPAP, easier to say than Gene, Paul, Ace, Peter. Just call him GPAP. Get ready for awesome guys. Yes, just as I'm about to close down my show, for awesome guys will be launching their shows. And so for those that are watching this, after I stop yapping and end the show in about 10 to 12 minutes, you can jump over to Four Awesome Guys with Undisputed Frost, GPAP, and trying to remember who the other two guys are. I have a comic store that has 300 series already. Yeah, and I have seen recently. I saw someone selling the entire set of 300 near mint condition, and the price was very reasonable. It was like $50, something like that. It was definitely under $100, and I was ready to pounce on it, and it was sold before I can jump on it. So I just had to keep my eyes. It's out there. I can get the series for a very reasonable price, and I don't need 9.8 slabs. My goal to acquire that mini series again is to look through the beautiful arts again. I want to read it. So, if I can find decent condition book for a cheap price, I will buy it. I don't need 9.8 slabs of that series. There is zero reason for me to own those on that series in high grade. No need to. Um, these days, like I said, I don't buy a lot of slabs. So, the last thing I want to do is buy modern slabs. It's just not for me. Do not be offended out there. Whenever it comes down to what I like to collect, what I don't like to collect, please, people, it has nothing to do with you. Okay, keep that in mind. What I do, what I buy, what I collect, what I have has nothing in bearing of what you should do or what you have done. It doesn't mean anything. It's an individual choice. It's one of those things where I always try not to come across as this. I have the best collection, and what I collect is the best, and what other people collect are garbage. That's the last thing I want to come across. Do you think collecting Valiant keys are a good investment? It all depends on how the movies are. I mean, surely, have they even started producing any of these movies? Sure, there have been rumors and buzz that they are going to, make movies out of these Valiant characters. Chinese money, Chinese studios are investing in that. We have all heard about that, but has anything became concrete? Has a Valiant character get an announcement where they say, we are making this movie, we are casting the main character, and the release date is this date? Have we heard anything like that? Until we hear something like that, it's just all speculation. So is it a good investment? Until there are movies, and until those movies are successful, all we have is speculation, not investment. See, that's my thing. There are books that are good investment, and then there's books that are good speculation that you can speculate on, make quick buck. And for now, I'm putting the Valiant keys in the speculation bucket, not investment bucket. Because if the movie came out and it bombs, you could be sitting on a lot of books that nobody cares, because once it's bomb, it's gonna bomb. It's not. Valiant characters are fairly unknown to the mass audience. It's not the Batman, it's not the Superman, it's not anything. If you ask 100 non-collectors out there about Shadow Man, I'm pretty sure 100% of those people would have no idea what you're talking about. So you're not talking about mainstream character by any means. Very risky character to bring to the big screen. Okay, in my opinion, very risky. Scott asks, when is your next sale, Fred, Nick? Or are you using the auction house? Scott, most likely the auction house. I have a bunch of X-Men slabs. The reason why I say auction house is that because I do have a bunch of CBCS slabs. And it's easier to just send them all to Comic Link and be done with them than trying to sell them on eBay or in the CGC forum. We'll see. Right now, I don't have any plan. I do have a stack of 20 plus slabs that I want to sell. Including that is giant size X-Men 1, 9.6, and a bunch of high grade Silver Age X-Men. I got a whole bunch of X-Men, like X-Men 52, X-Men 61, X-Men 40, you name it. I have a whole bunch of Silver Age X-Men slabs that I do not want to keep anymore. So between, it might be later this year or the first few months of next year. It just depends on when I think is the right time to consign them to Comic Link. Hello, Carl on Bass. I read the first 2012 XO Men of War trade today. Cool story. Hopefully some of the thought-provoking stories they have will be treated well in movies. We'll see. Like I said, it has to be done well. With the Valiant characters, the movie has to be a well-made movie, because you're not talking about well-known characters. You need a strong word of mouth. You need people to go see the movie, have no idea who the heck Shadow Man is or any of these characters are. You need people to go see it and say, it's a good movie. Go see it. You need critics and many others to do that for any Valiant characters to be a financial success. Okay, because unlike Batman versus Superman, where the review was horrible, there are still a lot of hardcore fanboy that will still spend the money to go see the movie regardless of what the critics say. That is not the case for any of the Valiant characters. Comic Quest, hello. Valiant and investment shouldn't be used in the same sentence. I have to agree with you. That's why I said that Valiant at best is speculation, because you're talking about high risk books that the movie might never come to fruition. Okay, we have heard rumors about these movies for a few years now. So far, nothing, absolutely nothing has been concrete. Nothing. So I don't know. I don't know if we ever, I'm sure the Chinese investors are working. The Chinese investor want to make a splash entry into the superhero movie genre. I'm not sure Valiant is the right property to do that. Classic County Point, buying a 1.0 tail suspend 39 for less than 2,000. Is that a good investment? Tough question. Is it a bad investment? I say no. Okay. Now, good investment is a tough thing to categorize, because what define a good investment? Getting a 5% return. So let's say you buy that book, The Tale of Suspense, today. If it double in 10 years, is that a good investment? I say yes, given that right now, if you put that money in the bank, in savings account, it return this. So even if it take 10 or 15 years to double your money, at this rate, the way the economy is, the way the world economy is, we are looking at low rate for many, many, many years, if not decades to come. So if you don't like to see 0% return on your money market, then getting a 5% return in Tail Suspense 39 is a good investment. A better alternative than keep the money in money market. If that makes sense. If my reasoning make any sense. Why don't you try to sell some of your books on a silent auction show this Saturday? Who that? I might do that. I have considered it. I thought about it, and I might the next time the guys, especially the few guys, the name escaped my brain, but the next time they have a live discussion on Stash It, Blast It, or Stash It, I might jump on and talk about if I should show some of the slab I want to sell and see if it'd be interesting. It's hard to say, I mean, I'm not sure how many people watch those shows care to buy a $2,000 book. Like I say, if I was going to sell a giant size X-Men 1 CGC 9.6, who's out there? What viewer in this community is going to be a buyer of that book, right? So good night. Liking the covers. I just look at the clock. It's 8:01. Final question before I say good night. Do you think Batman Adventure Thrill will keep climbing? Right now, CGC 9.8 is around 2,250. Monk's Den, I think that book is not going to crash, okay? Not to say that I think that book can keep going high and high and high, okay? I think that book, on sheer high demand and high popularity of Harley Quinn, is going to keep the demand strong. So I don't see a crash. Now, once again, we're back down to good investment, okay? There's a lot of place to put your money to get a good return, okay? So if you are happy to make 10% return in 5 years, say 5 years from now, that book can be 2,500. If you think that getting a 10% return in 5 years is a good investment, then it's a good investment. Do I see the book go much bigger? I just don't see Harlequin first appearance to be a $5,000 book anytime soon. Okay, I just don't see it. Can I see 2,500? Sure, but it might take 3 to 5 years. So, like I said, if it takes 3 to 5 years to make 10% on your money, if that was my portfolio, if that's my money, I said I can find a better place to put my money. Okay, that's how I am. I like to get good returns, and getting 10% return in 5 years is not good return. Okay, but that's just me. I saw something about who that you mentioned, the Great Legend show at 10 Eastern time. I will see. I will see if I can pop in to his show and see what's going on there. It's tough for me to be in a live chat on a Saturday night at 10 p.m. But I will see if I can pop in. Okay. Pablo, what's going on? You are showing up right at the end. I am running overtime. See you later, Carl on Bass. Bye, Raz. Bye. Well, anyhow, time for me to say goodbye. Pablo, you're showing up right at the end. Hopefully you will rewind and rewatch the entire hour plus from the beginning. Mars, bringer of comics, greeting, you showing up right at the end. But anyhow, the next live chat will be Sunday. Okay, as of right now, Sunday chat is on schedule. I don't see anything on the horizon that will disrupt that plan. Thank you, AG Surfer. Good night. So see you guys all, or whoever it is that want to join me Sunday morning around 11 a.m. Eastern time. Same place, same room, same chair. Anyhow, good night. And go and watch 4 Awesome Guys video. Well, the 4 Awesome Guys live chat is on right now, so you can all switch over there and enjoy. Jeff G, thoroughly enjoy your wham. Thank you. It's not easy for me to find the 3rd month. Not easy at all. Night. Bye.